Hey everyone, this is Mike Bond with Hard Money Mike. Today we're going to go over one important thing people ask all the time is why do lenders only lend 70 or 75%? There's so much more money in it. Why don't they give me more? We're going to go over those numbers. These are numbers you should know. So maybe grab a pencil and let's run through where lenders come up with the 70 to 75% of the ARV they're going to lend you. A lot of times it's confusing to investors. It's like, why are lenders only giving me 75% or 70% of the after repair value? Why don't they give me more? And it's also something you should probably do and look at on every property, because there's ways here maybe you could pinch a few numbers here and there and get more money into your pocket. That's what this is all about, understanding the numbers so you put more money in your pocket. So let's start out. What are we talking about when we're talking about lending on an ARV? Most lenders in this market are lending 70% of ARV. Sometimes they're lending up to 75%. And that just depends on your experience, your credit, all those kind of things. But what does that mean? What does it look like? So first of all, remember ARV, that's the after repair value. That's the value you think you're going to sell it for or can be appraised for when you go to refinance it for a BRRRR or a rental property. Let's take an example of what that looks like on a $200,000 property. So let's say you buy a property and you're going to sell it. The market shows that it will sell fixed up for $200,000. So let's just pick the lower amount, the 70%, just so you can see the gap and why the gap is there. So if you have a $200,000 ARV or the amount you're going to sell it for, that means the lender is going to give you 70% of that property in a loan, or up to 70%. That's the maximum they'll lend. So $200,000 at 70% is $140,000. So they're going to allow you up to $140,000. Depending on your qualifications and the budget, you could get up to that $140,000. So what most people say, well, they're the 60 grand. Why can't I get any of the other amounts? There's still a lot of money here. There's $60K that they're not going to let me borrow against. What can I do? And we're going to go through and show you those numbers, why the lenders stop at 70%. Let's look at the numbers. What is on the other side of the 70%? That is the 30% that they're saying you're going to have to take care of or you're going to carry, but it's really not even carrying, because we've got to remember something in real estate investing. Number one, what are we looking for? Why are we doing this? It is called profit. So the profit that you're going to get out of the property comes when you sell it or refinance it or just keep it long term. So what the lender looks at is most people on most projects want somewhere between 10 and 15%. They're not doing a fix and flip or a rental property without making some money, without making some cash flow, without getting that equity. So you as an investor want to make some money. So let's just say that number on average is 12.5%. So on a $200,000 property, you want to make $25,000, 12.5%. You want to walk away from the closing table with money in your pocket. So of the 30% that they're not funding, 12.5% of that is calculated figure to be your profit. They are not going to lend you or give you money for future profits because they got to make sure the property is actually done. Because a trick here is the property is not really worth the $200,000 until it's fixed up, ready to go, and someone else wants to buy it, or another lender wants to refinance it into a loan based on that $200,000. That all comes down to the work you've done to the property and the demand in the market. Not only profits, we got to make sure you get profits, but there are other people involved, especially on the selling side. There's a realtor. And that realtor is going to get somewhere between, let's say, 4.8 and 6%. But to keep it easy, let's just say they get 5%. Now already between your profits and the realtor, we can see that's at 17.5%. So those are all items that are going to happen at closing, so there is no need for funding and for you to pay the interest. We're showing you exactly why lenders lend what they do, so you can understand the whole picture, so you feel comfortable, so you understand lenders are not trying to make it hard on you or take advantage of you. They just understand for your best interest and theirs, is to leave the profit and all that stuff when you sell it. Also, when you close the transaction or the loan, title, the closing agent, escrow, all those people are going to have some fees, some costs. And there also may be some concessions to the buyer. Maybe there's some items that you need to cover, or you're just covering their closing costs. So when you're looking at this, besides your profits and the realtor, there's also closing. And just to make this easy, let's just go with 1.5% on the closing, because sometimes there's 3 or 6% concessions, sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. Right now, let's just look at where we're at with our numbers. At 12.5, 5, and 1.5, we're at 19% already. All these things happen at closing. So 19, maybe even 20%, depending on where you want your profits and where the realtor is going to be in the closing. This could be anywhere between 17 and 22%. So those are variables. Some of these, like the realtor, you can work with and try to get a better deal. Closing the same way, there's things that you could do to help you there. But also from when you purchased it to when you sell it, there's other costs involved too. So let's go over those costs just to see where the 30% comes from. So as we've gone over, we have profits that you're looking for, there's realtors involved, there's closing for both the company that's closing it and if you're giving any concessions. But also, like I said before, there's a gap between when you purchased it, when you sell it, there's more expenses that come out of your pocket, and that's typically focused around two things. Number one is interest. So you're going to have to pay monthly payments. You're going to have something come out of your pocket to keep that loan going. The reason the lenders do that is because they know if you're paying it, you're probably going to shorten that time period. They know, and you know as you go through this, the quicker you do a flip or even get to a BRRRR, the more money that goes into your pocket. So when you're having to make payments, they understand that you will probably be a little bit more on that project, making sure it gets done fast, because that interest, if it's not paid to the lender, goes right to your profits. And there's also one other thing that's out there in most fix and flips, and that's overage. Something that we just did not see coming. You open the wall, something's there. The city hits you with something else. So there is an overage budget too of anywhere between 3 and 5%. So as you see, these are numbers that are either at closing or something to make sure that you're getting to closing as fast as you can, and something that's unforeseen. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with the overage. Some of these overages, some of those things, we're working with a hard money lender compared to a private or a bank, they become more flexible. But when you add all these up, when you remember we're at 19% just for the closing, and now we're going to add possibly another 10% and be at 29%. That's without the realtor getting 6%. That's only 5%. That's with closing costs, not giving money back to the borrower in incentives. That's no other overages out there. You could see now where lenders get to that 25 to 30% that they do not fund, because it all comes out either at the end or during it, just to make sure you're on track. Now, it's important, if you're going to be a real estate investor, you have to understand funding and money is more than half of where you make your money, because it will take a decent deal and make it good. It'll take a good deal and make it great. It will actually open up more deals to you, but you have to understand your numbers. This is just one of the numbers. You have to understand what the lenders will lend and what they won't. We want to make sure you understand. So we're going to go through a whole series of different numbers, how to calculate LTV, ARV, what are DSCR numbers, all of those things. The details are in the numbers, and once you know them and you feel comfortable with them, it's fast and easy to see if a deal is good for you and profitable for you. Because the one thing you don't want to get into is a deal that's not profitable for you. If you're not going to get, that 10 to 15% profit, why do this? Don't go through this for exercise. Make sure the profit's there and the lenders understand that the profit's there. Now, we're here to help. If you have any questions, if you have a deal you just want us to run through or look at it, reach out to us, email us. We're here to help you with every deal that we can. Even if it's something we can't do, we'd love to help you. So reach out to us. Our email's below, and we'll catch you on the next video.